Hi everyone, thanks for joining In Alignment for Me. I'm your girl, Mylinda, and we're going to be talking about real life experiences from things we have done, witnessed, and learned from, and still is learning from because we are not perfect. This is a safe space, and we're going to get real vulnerable. Stay tuned, we may relate or we may learn something. At the end of the day, you are all trying to get aligned with yourselves, so let's do it for the greater good. Thanks for watching. Hi y'all, thank you so much for joining me. This is In Alignment for Me. This is something different a little bit. I've been really contemplating on what I want this video to be about and really what my whole channel to be about. I just want to keep it real and raw with y'all to express what I go through on a daily and to give knowledge and encouragement and all that good stuff. So I keep switching. I usually don't talk about my pain like the other two videos, which is something basic, something good to know. But this is really a vulnerable side of mine. So anyway, let's get to it. So I really want to talk about me. And I think I'm gonna change what in alignment for me means. In alignment for me is literally I am doing everything that did not fit and everything that I thought was right and everything that I've learned through the years of living and knowing what I thought, learned, and experienced, that it wasn't right for me. It didn't align to what God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit wanted me to do on this earth. And sometimes my flesh can overpower my spirit. And my flesh can do more talking than my spirit because, well, that was my rush, because, you're so, when you start at a young age, you're built into this mold where you think life should look like, this picture where you think, okay, this is the standard of what life should be, a rule that you should follow. And some things that you learn, it's not it at all. Based off of your experiences, what you've been taught, it's not what God really wanted. And that's the battle that sometimes you may come to at a season where you have to acknowledge it and, face it head on, that dang, everything I've known is not really what's best for me. So I was looking at a video, right? And they were pretty much talking about, some things God has not in store for you because you have some self-healing to go through. God is not going to bless something that you want because you haven't fixed what you need to fix in order for this blessing to manifest. And I was like, wow, like I have so many things I have to fix inside of me where if I don't, it's not going to manifest. God's not going to bless something where you haven't done the work in order to receive this other blessing. It's more so you want, but have you done the job, the everyday practice, the praying, the, pretty much your due diligence to get what needs to be done in order for you to have what you really want. You can't go to a next level if you haven't finished level 1. So, and I may go off topic, but for example, and I just really been thinking, like, I have so much stuff I gotta fix for myself, but one is like, dang, I ain't never had a kid. I mean, I don't have a child. I mean, I'm young. First of all, let's get that straight. There's no really age. Well, it kind of is a limit for women, the time you have left in order to have a child is really, once you get older in your late 30s and 40s, a slim chance to none, all women know that, men too. But I'm just like, is there something that I've done, because it takes two to have kids, is there something inside of me and that I put out that I've done in order for me to have, not to have any kids or to get married and all that stuff? Like every time I turn around, somebody's getting married, somebody's having a kid, which you should not judge your life based off of somebody else's life. Everybody have a different path and a different journey that they're on. But I'm just hoping, okay, but am I doing my part? Am I doing my part to make sure, okay, it's not that I'm not doing my part, it's just not my time yet? Or is it I'm doing something and I'm not healed by something internally where I feel as if God's not going to grant me that wish? So I've really been digging deep for the past couple hours, and which I've always thought about and talked about, and to myself and to others, and had a long conversation about, dang, because in my family, everybody thought that I was going to be the first one to have a child, the first one married, and everything like that, because of who I am. I'm a very loving person, and that wasn't the case, which is I am very okay with that, because I'm happy that I have my niece and my nephew. Oh, I love being an auntie, honey. I love being an auntie. It's the best thing ever. Like, they're my babies, but I can take them back. But I'm just like, okay, I think there's some self-healing that I need to do. For one, if you have an older generational parents, especially your mother, she's very old school, and my dad, he's old school too. But what I've kept hearing throughout the entire years, even till now when I'm grown, of my life, is like, you don't need to have no babies. Especially in my younger years, which mold me to who I am now, where it's like, don't bring no kids up in here. Only person gonna be crying is me. That's what my mom always said. The only person gonna be crying is her. And she was so against it, where it was more so that's all she said, instead of like, oh, when you have a child, it's going to be beautiful, da da da, or just talk about motherhood. I mean, that was never the case. It was just strictly don't bring no kids up in here, don't have no babies, don't do nothing, which I understand. You wouldn't want your child to have a baby at such a young age, like they're still a child themselves, which I get. But it was never no encouraging of what motherhood looks like. Like, oh, one day you're gonna have kids, it's gonna be a loving thing and all that. It was just, when it came down to talking about kids, it was put on such a negative pedestal instead of a balance of like, hey, I don't want you to have kids now because you still got your life ahead of you. But being a mother, I would want you to have a child one day. You know what I'm saying? So to be honest with you, I'm being straight up, and this is being vulnerable. Like, ever since I was a kid, like, I was so scared of having a child, even in my adult years. Like, I was so scared. I just felt like it was a bad thing, even though my mom had 3 and everybody had kids. But it was just like, why me specifically? Like, no, do not have kids. Like, why did I hold on to that so much, where it made me scared to want to have kids in the future in my adult years, even when I'm stable? Like, so I always said to everyone, and you have to be careful what you put out in this world, because words are energy, and once you put something out, you paint a picture of who you are, and what you put out is going to be out. You can't contradict yourself in your mind. Like, your mind saying one thing, but your mouth saying the other thing. That's contradicting, but the world can't hear what you're thinking. So for a long time, like, I did not want to have kids. Like, I used to tell everybody, I don't want no kids, I don't want no kids, I don't want no kids. But I knew in my soul, like, I'm a loving person. Like, I would, like, how people looked at me, I'm like, oh, she'll be the first one to have kids. When I say that, it's like, because I'm such a loving person. and I'm very affectionate. So me being scolded where it's like, no, you shouldn't have kids, no that, no that, no that. I think in my mother's mind, it was like she was just trying to protect me from having a child at a young age. She just kept saying it. But in my mind, how I interpret it, where it's like, no, I should never have kids. And that's just how I interpret it. So I used to tell everybody, like, I don't want no kids, I don't want no kids, I don't want no kids, to the point where I actually took action of it and took so many Plan B pills. Like, yeah, I took so many Plan B pills. And before I even took the Plan B pills, like, I had PCOS. So my periods was never regular. So it's just like, dang, I'm really not supposed to have kids. You know, cause it'll take, for people who have PCOS, it'll take a long time for them to, you know, it's very hard to have kids, pretty much. It's very hard to have kids. And I'm gonna turn this down a little bit because I don't know if y'all can hear me. It's very hard to have kids. And, you know, sometimes you have to get checked by a doctor for help, you know, if you want to produce kids. So with my mom and everyone's so afraid of me having kids and me having PCOS, it was just like, okay, it's just not in the cards for me. So I just chucked it up. And I was just like, you know, instead of like getting sad over the situation, I just was like, oh, you know, I cope with it in a different way, where it's just like, oh, okay, whatever. It's just not in the cards for me. So I started taking Plan B pills, you know, when I had an incident. And I think, and that could be dangerous as well, taking so many Plan B pills, because you could mess up your, you know, your system. I think it's called the reproduction system. So, excuse me. So, you know, me talking out loud of what I'm doing and what I don't want, I think it manifested something in the air where God just like, I'm not going to give you what you want now, because in the past you say you didn't want it. This is what you did to prevent it. So I need for you to fix what you got going on, because internally you're damaged from it. And with me, let me tell you about me. I had a lot of shit, and I've learned, even though I am a crybaby when it comes to serious things, me specifically, like it has something to do with me specifically, I've learned to cope with chalking things up. With other people, like me trying to build a relationship with other people, or something going on with that person's life that I empathize with them, you know, that takes harder to like chalk things up, because I care about people, you know, and I want people, you know, to care about me and me to care about them. But me alone, it's so easy for me to not care about myself. You know, I process things differently. So I think I brainwashed myself. I think it's called self-sabotaging. I brainwashed myself, where it's like, okay, yeah, let me take these Plan B pills. Let me do this, let me do that. Whatever. Where now it's like, dang, I ain't got it. Like, am I ever gonna have a child? And it's like, oh, now I have the possibility of me wanting a child. You know, I do want a child, put it that way. Now I'm like really thinking like, oh yeah, one day I really want to have a child. Because before I didn't think I wanted to. Now I'm like, okay, I really do want a child one day. So it's like, now that I want it, I'm hoping for it. But I think God is like, no, you're not. No, you did too much damage that you need to correct and think about and learn from. Where now that you want it, I'm not going to give it to you. So it doesn't line up. You're confused and I'm confused. You know? Like, a lot of things I have to unravel. A lot of things. And another thing, or reason why I didn't think I should have kids, because to be honest with you, I was so scared of like, what kind of mother would I be? You know, what kind of mother would I be to have a child? Like, my mom, first of all, forget whomever, having a child, you have to have balls. Like, this child is going to be with you until you die or until they die. We don't know how many years that's going to be. So you gotta take care of them, love them, worship them, honor them, nourish them. And sometimes you don't even feel like being bothered. So it's like with me, people say with me, it's like, and I think they say it because like I'm always, like I love taking my naps. Like some people think I'm not gonna, like they'll pick fun, but like, girl, you always sleeping. How you gonna take care of a child? You love your sleep or whatever. You love this, like that. I sort of much have a carefree lifestyle, but trust me, it's really not a carefree lifestyle. I just really deal with things differently, and I'm quiet when I go through my actual feelings, unless I feel like expressing it. So back to what I was saying, like, how am I gonna be able to take care of a child? You know? Sometimes I think God is mad at me that I ordered so many kids. And not because, you know, it was just, I mean, women have the last word regardless. If they want to keep or abort. Wait. I never had an abortion. I took Plan B's, which is kind of similar to the same thing. It's a preventative pill. But regardless, it's not gonna happen. So I'm just gonna keep it like this because what I had was killing me. I really need my hair done. I'll just keep it like this. But to be honest with you, like, there's so many childhood wounds I need to heal for myself, you guys. And some things, and I'm just gonna make this a long story short, some things, stuff is not happening to you because you have to heal yourself. It could be from your childhood or whatever season in your life where you were just in a bad situation and it caused you to end up thinking differently than what you're thinking now. And God's looking at that and like, no, I need for you to fix this before I grant you something else, because how you acted and what you said was not in my will for you, and it's not in my, I don't want you to go back to it. When I do grant you this, I want you to be prepared for it, pretty much. Be prepared of what I'm about to give you. A lot of people is not prepared what God is about to give them, and when it shows up, they don't know what to do with it. So I think everything is for a reason. Every failure is for a reason. Every good thing is for a reason. Every waiting period is for a reason. Like in my single years right now, like I've been single for a minute. When I say a minute, because I've been off and on one person, but I no longer talk to this person anymore. But when this single life, everyone, take this time to figure out who you are, learn yourself, fix things internally, and love yourself as well. Because it's very critical that you figure who you are at this moment. Is very critical. And yes, I'm drinking. That's okay. It's Cinco de Mayo weekend. Hey, it's Cinco de Mayo weekend, honey. Okay, but yeah, it's very critical to know and love yourself at this moment. For yourself. Stop bashing yourself. Stop. stop bashing yourself. Lead with love. Encourage yourself. Recognize your mistakes. Know that it's not going to be done in a day. You know, you can't fix everything in a day, but it takes one day for you to understand, for you to take that initiative step to try to turn something bad into something good. It only takes one day, one thought, and the rest is your timing. Trust in God, trust in the Lord, trust in yourself, believe. I look a mess, don't I? I know I look a mess. I will put the hat back on, but whatever. I look somewhat different, right? Believe in yourself and it will all come to. There's nothing wrong if you have a past. Everybody got a past. Everybody dealing with something. But if you feel as if something is not happening as if you should already have it, then maybe there's something that God wants you to look back on and think, okay, why is this troubling me? Why is it not working? Like, what's going on that I'm not understanding? All right, y'all. Always stay in alignment with yourself. That's why this is called alignment for me, because I'm doing it for me. And the one who's helping me. Have a good day or night.